Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your YBP Gang, YBP Nation, YBP Boxing, YBP MMA, and I'm coming at y'all with the UFC Abu Dhabi UMAR Nurmagomedov going up against Corey Sandhagen fight night recap. What a great event this was. Good fights. Some sad moments obviously on the card, but really strong into the card. I'm not buying the narrative this was a boring main event. I thought it was really good, really high level, and it showed that UMAR's that guy. They can't keep denying him. He might on paper, he should retire undefeated. Obviously things can happen. You get hit with the shot, not everything goes perfect in MMA. It's kind of hard to just, go through an entire career going unscathed. But UMAR has the makings to be a GOAT in this sport, even, be in those GOAT conversations. He has that skill that someone like Khabib does. Now, I do think Khabib is the best wrestler to come out of that stable because I think Khabib probably would have taken down Corey. But the way UMAR was able to the well-roundedness of all the guys coming out of that camp, like Islam, UMAR, Belal is starting to make that curve. Usman Nurmagomedov at Bellator. Like, these guys, they're not exclusively wrestlers. Now they can strike. And UMAR Nurmagomedov, at some point, I said, I think last year when I made my prediction, I said that, and I think, honestly, I know I'm jumping from point to point, but I think, honestly, UMAR benefited from this fight happening a year later, being able to sharpen his tools and become a better fighter. Who knows what would have happened at that time. But like I said, my initial prediction a year ago when this fight got scheduled was Corey. Now, I switched to UMAR, but I don't feel too, vindicated or, my breakdown, and I don't think anyone's breakdown consisted of Corey's going to stuff the takedowns, but he's going to lose on the feet. No one thought that was going to happen. I certainly didn't. I thought that if UMAR got his takedown stuff, that it was going to look bad on the feet. Sure, he's a really good striker, really good kicker, but does he have the volume? Does he have the pace? Does he have just the skill to stick with a guy like Corey Sandhagen, who, in my eyes, prior to this fight, was one of the better strikers in the UFC? Now, I'm not one to just thwart and just, put Corey down because of, because what a lot of people will say is oh, well, now that UMAR outstruck him, he was never that good. No, I think Corey is that good. I think UMAR's just that much better. And I think he has to be in conversation for being a very good striker. Just like how I think Islam should be, as far as just MMA striking goes. So, yeah, honestly, just a crazy performance. I think the boxing was really apparent. I think Corey's not that good of a boxer. UMAR lit him up, man. The speed difference, And UMAR had some really good kicks. Corey, that's his bread and butter, and UMAR was matching him in every single facet of the fight, wherever it went, So, obviously, he couldn't get his wrestling game going, but at the end, he finally got the wrestling game going. He was finally able to get that massive control time. He was finally able to do that. And the big thing about this fight, too, and I heard the broadcast say it, is that this was probably the toughest cookie to crumble, This was definitely the toughest lock to open. This was a very tough fight for UMAR, just on paper, just the puzzle to figure out Corey. And now you add on this improved takedown defense. That's probably the best takedown defense that UMAR will ever see in his career. Maybe Merab has better takedown defense. That's yet to be seen. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody offensively wrestle against Merab. But if he fights O'Malley, that's going to be a lot easier. I can tell you that right now. I don't think O'Malley has nearly the defensive grappling that Corey showcased in that fight. That was beautiful what he was doing. Coming from a guy who's, been in wrestling rooms, who's wrestled before. Some of the stuff they were is very high level. I'm no Daniel Cormier, but you get a different appreciation when you've competed, at any sort of level, Just seeing what they're doing, seeing what Corey was doing, the little, nifty tricks that he would pull out of his bag, But at the end of the day, UMAR's skill just kind of it overruled in the end. But I could talk about this fight for days. I don't want to ramble too much about it. I got a lot of thoughts on that fight. I think right now, I did say prior to this fight, UMAR is the best fighter at the weight class. He's levels ahead of everybody. I don't want to say levels, but because I am interested in seeing that Merab fight. But you'd have to assume he outstrikes him on the feet, and he could honestly knock him out. I know Merab's a very tough guy on the feet, but the boxing that I saw in this fight was so crazy. It was amazing. And the speed, that's just something that I don't know, but Merab puts a pace on guys that's like it's hard to deal with, when he's right up against your face. But I think Umar takes that with I think the striking difference is a lot. It's vast, and he can't just like thwart that by just like having that pace. Like I think Umar has pretty good cardio in his own right. But if you picked Merab, I wouldn't hate the pick. Merab's been very underrated in his career. A lot of people thought he would lose, some of the fights he's had. That's not a bad person to take your O. So, but nah. In this matchup though, I think he's proved it's almost like with this Corey fight, it validates him so much because of who Corey is and how I think a lot of people thought the fight would play out. And, for him being such a big favorite, he looked like a big favorite out there. So, I kind of, yeah, we can honestly end the video right there, but I'm going to keep going. We got, Shara Bullet Magomedov going up against Michal Oleksiejczuk. Yeah, I got this fight completely wrong. I think the under on the fantasy points still cash, but, because Michal is so tough. But I did think Shara would struggle with the boxing and the pressure by Michal, and I thought he did, early on. I don't know if that was a knockdown, but he was able to thwart it. He was able to, kick his legs and kind of just, but, okay. Even though he was able to kick his legs, Shara's movement isn't that good. Like, I feel like he could have, moved a lot better in that fight, off the cage. But I think he did a good job of, getting Michal off him. I still have a lot of questions about, what a better boxer could do and what a better grappler could do if Michal took him down. So I'm not laying off my point. I still do think Shara is a bit overrated, but he answered the questions that, for this fight, I think going up against another boxer. But I don't know. I'm still not sold yet, man, because that grappling is very, it's bad. It's really bad. And the striking, you see those little glimpses of Michal and JJ having that success, putting him up against the cage, and those kicks, him not really being able to let those kicks go. I thought he was able to improvise pretty well in the fight, and his hands looked improved. His hands looked pretty decent, but I'm not really sold yet on him. There's a reason he called out Nick Diaz. I thought that was a very smart call out, to be honest. Because they make fights like Khamzat and Nate Diaz they did back in the day. I think it's a very smart call. I think he knows that he's not quite at that level yet. I think he's smart, man. He's taking the boxing approach. And, if he's a true star in the UFC, I think the UFC will carry him out, in the same way. So I think that's very smart what they're doing, or what he's planning on doing. With Figgy and Marlon Vera, Figgy's one of he's added to my favorite fighter list. I want to come out with a favorite fighter list soon. He's definitely going to be on it, man. This guy is a dog, man. Vera's a dog, but Figgy's a dogger. You know what I'm saying? That guy is different. For him to rock Vera in the third round, very competitive round. Round one, he was able to control Vera and get that a lot of control time, get that takedown. But through second and third, I thought Marlon Vera's defensive grappling looked really good and very improved from times past. And Figgy, I feel I don't know, maybe I overrated Figgy's grappling, but I don't, not that I overrated his I think I underrated how good Vera's takedown defense would be, and Figgy couldn't really get that success, but he was having some success on the feet early in that round, piecing Vera up. Second round wasn't quite going his way, and he was really relying on getting that takedown, didn't get it. And in the third round, honestly, I thought it was very good. Some people were saying that Vera was winning the fight, winning the entirety of the round outside of the knockdown. I disagree. I thought it was very back and forth and competitive. I think the Figgy knockdown separated him, But I will say, though, if the knockdown hadn't happened, I probably would have leaned Vera. But it was very, back and forth. It was a very competitive round. Figgy was doing some good work on the feet. But, yeah, that's a really bad time to get knocked down for the first time in your entire career, because Vera has this aura around him. He's never been knocked down, never been, toughest guy in the UFC, iron chin. So to get knocked down by a flyweight, not a good look. But Figgy just proved, he has so many ways to win the fight. He can sub you. He has the power. He has the power of all these guys in the division, man. He can punch with the best of them. So he's definitely a contender in this weight class, and it's definitely someone to look out for. In my personal opinion, I think he beats. I think he beats. He beats O'Malley. But, okay, I don't know. Beating O'Malley, I don't know how good that really is. Because I think O'Malley's probably one of the more beatable champions, looking at the guys below him. But bantamweight's just so good. Yeah, I think he beats O'Malley, Jan, Cheeto, obviously I said. Cejudo. And not Marab. But I say he was a top 3 bantamweight. That was my take, and I think he still is, man. He's a very good fighter. Next one, Michael Chiesa, Tony Ferguson. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I mean, Tony Ferguson never had a chance. Made it look easy, man. I was concerned, because Chiesa was striking with Ferguson a lot. But yeah, man, I mean, Ferguson, I don't know what he's doing. He's edging everyone with the win. Like, oh, I'm going to come back, like, I don't know. He needs to retire, gang. But the problem is, even if he comes back, like, who do you give him to beat? Like, there's no one. Everyone beats him at this point. Low key, I mean, sorry to say, but he just looked terrible. I mean, the fact that Chiesa was able to sub him that easy, that's terrible. No resistance at all. Like, it was bad. Even on the feet, he looked lethargic. Like, he needs to retire. It's bad. 8-fight win streak, getting finished in like 5 of the 6 of those. They gotta let him go. Next fight, Mackenzie Dern versus Lupita Godinez. Very good back and forth fight. I thought Dern's boxing looked improved. I liked her grappling early on. She was able to get mount on Loopy early in the fight. Yeah, just a levels fight. You just saw that Dern, she had that, what's the word for it? I guess opposition experience. Like, she fought the tougher competition and it showed. She was able to bite down on her mouthpiece and, really go to war with Loopy and get that win. So very impressed with her performance. Definitely a step down in competition. So hopefully, I think she has the makings to be a champion if she can put everything together. And yeah, man, I love seeing Mackenzie Dern fight. She's one of the more exciting fighters in the division, one of the more beautiful fighters, in the UFC, and very big following. I think she has star potential, man. I mean, she's already a star. So, when you have someone like that in the organization, you just love to see them thrive. So, shout out to Mackenzie Dern. Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brener. Man, it sucks for Elvis Brener, man. I predicted this, though. I did say Alvarez by KO. He followed the strategy, man. He did not play with Alvarez in the grappling. Obviously, he did hurt him. I was getting kind of pissed because he would hurt him and then he would try to go for a sub. But Alvarez, he stuck to a good game plan. He didn't try to brawl with Elvis Brener. He stayed disciplined, jab on the outside, beat him up from the outside, good kicks. And Brener was just left, like, hopeless. He didn't really know what to do from the outside, tried to get inside on a guy who was 6'3". It was a tough stylistic matchup. I think people just assumed that Brener was going to figure out something, or maybe they thought he was going to out-wrestle him. I will say Alvarez's takedown defense looked very good in this fight. I thought he, considering Brener took down Guram, he's taken out other guys in the past. Like, I thought there would be moments of Brener maybe dominating the grappling, but not Joel Alvarez. But yeah, he didn't dominate necessarily, but he was able to stop the takedowns and just outstrike him on the feet. So shout out to Joel Alvarez, very complete performance and definitely someone to look out for in the lightweight division. Next fight, Azamat Murzakanov versus Alonzo Menifield. Pretty much a beatdown. Like, Alonzo, I was surprised he didn't even shoot a takedown. So my under 0.5 takedowns bet, like, catch easy, if y'all took that. So, yeah, he didn't even wrestle at all. Not even, and that was probably his only path to victory because on the feet, Azamat's just a nasty, nasty fighter, man. Just, big power, very fast, bouncy. He's bouncing in and out of range. It's just Alonzo, some of these shots he just didn't see coming, and it felt like it was going to happen eventually. It took a little longer than I expected, but yeah, he was outmatched. I think he probably could have been like one of the bigger favorites on the card. Obviously, you have that weariness because it's a heavyweight fight and these are guys who are going to strike, and Alonzo has power, but yeah, Azamat's the real deal, man. I don't know if he'll be a future champion, but definitely someone to look out for. Depending on who they match him up with, he can really make some noise in the light heavyweight division if he hasn't already. Kyle Fernandez versus Muhammad Yahya. I'm willing to eat crow on this fight because I did not expect Kyle Fernandez to be this good, honestly. Maybe, I don't know if it's like I didn't expect Kyle Fernandez to be this good or Yahya to be that bad. Like, he actually has some really bad fundamental, like, issues, bro. Like, just standing straight up. And honestly, the strategy was very, like, I was confused. I thought he would maybe grapple a little bit, like do something. I don't even know what I thought he was gonna do. I don't know. Looking back in hindsight, I don't know why I thought this fight was gonna be close. I just thought if Yahya could get out of the first round, maybe Fernandez gas out and Yaya could use his cardio and maybe put it on Fernandez to make it go to a decision, make it go a little longer. But he just got smoked. I mean, Fernandez just beat up his legs. I don't even know. Not a single kick was checked. I know that was just embarrassing. In his home country too. I thought, maybe, maybe they were trying to throw him a bone. Like they were trying to give him an easier opponent, but I don't know what I thought. To be fair, I didn't look at any of his LFA fights, so maybe that's where I went wrong. Because I saw just the Casey fight, and then for Yaya, I saw the Peak fight, and I thought, like, these guys aren't that good. Neither guy's all that good. Why is this guy such a big favorite? And I don't like listening to other people when it comes to my picks. I like keep it to myself. Because if you just let other people sway your opinions and you just listen to what everyone else says, you're not forming an opinion yourself, and you're not, like, I don't know. What are you doing? I feel like my best reads have been when I'm the one, like, going out and doing the research. And then after that, see what other people are saying, see if I'm having the same reads, see where people differ. It's always the best way to go about it. You don't want to listen to someone's breakdown and then then you're a little biased. And I watched the tape, and then I heard some people agreeing with me, but a lot of sentiment was Kyle Fernandez. I stuck with my guns, and yeah, it did not go good for me. So yeah, probably should have watched more tape. Is what it is though. Next fight, Shamil Gaziev, Dontel Mays. Yeah, pretty much dominate. Not too much to talk about here. Gaziev just dominated him, laid on him for 5 rounds. Thought he would strike with him way more. Because I did say, Dontel Mays never faced a puncher like Gaziev. I wish he would have stuck to a more striking-heavy game plan, because I think he would have been able to get Dontel Mays out of there on the feet. But, the ground game works. Pretty much just laid on him. People were booing, but, that's the way he fights, man. He's a very good wrestler, very good at top control, and, Mays can do anything about it, so. Next fight, Guram Kutateladze. Oh, this was a very good fight, I'll probably, if I get some free time, definitely rewatch this fight. This is a very good fight. Vucenic looked good. The pick was Vucenic, but for the bets, I think I picked under on Guram Kutateladze, and that cashed. If y'all had that, very good night for me. I think I only had 3 wrong. So yeah, y'all got. I'm improving. I'm improving with the picks. Doing the research. So y'all gotta stay tuned. Guram Kutateladze, man. He. Okay, here's the thing with this performance. I think all the credit has to go to Vucenic. I want to give Guram credit, but I'm not. The way Guram was supposed to be this next killer, next champion, and he has not lived up to the hype. Even this performance was kind of mid from him. That first round, getting dropped, that was nasty. Vucenic almost knocked him out in the first round. That's gonna get forgotten about because of the rounds 2 and 3. But Vucenic almost finished this guy, was dominating him for that first round, and then Guram is able to get back into the fight, show his striking. And then there was that big sequence where Vucenic got a little too high, got rubbed off, and then it rubbed off the back. And then Guram was a little too high, but he stayed, gets on his back, has control time. And that was kind of the ending sequence, I think, of the fight. And that kind of won in the fight. But overall, it's not too impressive. I mean, especially with that first round, that looked really, really bad. And you got to also consider Vucenic was the short notice guy coming in on. He was the guy coming in on short notice, and then also, Guram had already been training, and Guram was a pretty sizable favorite. So, to me, this is how I thought the fight would play out. I couldn't quite get to doing Vucenic's over on his fantasy points, but I did see a world with it where it played out close and fading him. So, yeah, man, very competitive fight. I think both these guys. I hope they bring Vucenic back. He's a very good fighter, lots of potential in the UFC. And for Guram, man, he has to clean that stuff up, man. Because if Vucenic is doing that to you, it's not gonna get lightweight's. It's a official talent, man. So if they're gonna line them up with a harder matchup here, it's not gonna be looking good. I'm definitely. I think people look at the name Guram and Kutateladze and everything that's attached to the Georgian fighters. He's got the beard, he's bald, he has a name that kind of ends with the C, Kutateladze. So people just assume he's gonna go out there and kill him. He's a very good fighter, but he's not nearly as good as people make him out to be. He's all right, so very beatable. Next, Sam Hughes, Dudakova. Yeah, I don't know. This one was an interesting fight. I honestly don't even remember it too much. I just remember I thought Dudakova won. Dudakova Had some good striking. She actually attempted a lot more takedowns than I thought she would, but she gassed out bad. And Hughes, with her cross-country background, they talked about that a lot on the broadcast. She was able to push the pace on Dudakova and really make it tough on the judges to give a decision. Because I thought with Dudakova holding on, with the grappling, with the control that she had late, I thought she had done enough. But I guess I'm not mad at the decision because it was a very close fight, but I felt like it went the wrong way. But not too mad at it, man. I think Dudakova, man, she didn't do enough. She didn't do enough, really. As far as damage, I think that decision had a lot to do with damage. And Dudakova just wasn't doing that. She was kind of just holding on for dear life. Next fight, Jai Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya. Yeah, classic performance by Jai Herbert. Just showing the clean striking, that clean skill strike is gonna get over on the guy who's, just a volume guy. Bedoya's getting caught in a lot of these places. Gotta kind of getting caught watching and being in awe of Jai Herbert striking, man. The guy was moving. It seemed like the guy was moving 2 times speed. He's just very good movements, very good kicks, very good boxing. It's some of these gyms, it's like they're very kick heavy, so the boxing isn't as pronounced. But Herbert showed that he has good kicks and he has good boxing. He's able to piece up Bedoya, so very it was a good level up moment for Herbert, considering the other fights that he had wasn't too impressive. And yeah, I'm impressed with Herbert, man. I want to see what he can do in the lightweight division. So yeah, 100%. He's 6'1". Yeah, man, I'm impressed, man. He has a bright future. If he could continue fighting like this, he's got maybe a championship in his horizon. Now, last fight of the card, Cedric Dumas versus Denis Tiuliulin. Very disappointed in Cedric Dumas. I thought he would do a lot better. He did actually end up going over 80.4 fantasy point. Sorry, yeah, he went over his fantasy points by a little bit. We kind of got bailed out there. But if I was the way, if I was just gonna manually give out the fantasy points, that didn't feel like a performance that warranted him going over that. Cause I don't feel good about getting that pick right because this fight was way too close. I thought Dumas would go out there and get a first round, second round finish and dominate Denis Tiuliulin, but he let him hang on way too much in this fight. This fight played out way too close. And if you're Dumas, this is essentially the worst guy at middleweight. Whatever guy you fight next, it's not going to get much better. This is not a performance to really be too happy about. I guess something you could take away from it is you fought hard, but you're supposed to fight hard. And his cardio didn't look that good. Not too much good to take out of this, especially this is the worst guy in the division. That's been finished several times prior in a row. So you're supposed to style on this guy, and he just didn't do that. I wish he would have let his hands go more and strike with them more on the feet. I think he had that speed advantage. He could have knocked him out. But I understand, wrestling him for sure. He had that advantage early. But yeah, just not the grappling is. He was the better grappler, but I don't know. I just think Tiuliulin's so bad that it just Dumas, because Dumas was just holding him pretty much, just trying to hold him up against the cage, doing the knees. He couldn't get a hook in for his life. It just seemed like he got to. It looks like the grappling that he used against Denis Tiuliulin is day one. He went to one grappling class. He was and then he's gonna go the next day and after this fight, he's gonna go the next day and be oh, okay, this is what I missed. All right, I'm gonna add this step 2, and then he's gonna be stuck on that step. It just seemed like such incomplete striking. Didn't try to get a hook in. Was just kind of trying to hold him there. Essentially, just using what he knows. Essentially, so. But didn't take any risks to try to do any stuff that he's ever seen. Just kind of using what he knows against a really bad grappler. I think he really could have made that fight way easier for himself if he was. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have the wherewithal, or he just wasn't listening to his corner. But yeah, I don't really know. He at the end of the day, he came through for us. So I'm not gonna be too critical. But yeah, I'm very disappointed in Dumas, and I just think he should be better. And whatever guy he fights next, because now he's a 10-2 fighter, it's not going to get much easier from here. You just went from the worst middleweight to the whoever he's going to fight next. So he needs to step it up for sure if he's going to be winning these fights. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Title of the video, I'll probably call it UMAR is the truth, because he's the truth. This guy's amazing. Yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Leave a like on the video, subscribe. Peace out, squad. You already know what it is. Boo!